Hi everybody, Brandon Talsman, Jasper County Supervisor. So I am currently driving through northeast Kansas through the Flint Hills region, heading to my old stomping grounds, actually, of Junction City, Fort Riley, Kansas. And the wife, she was going to come with me, and we were going to bring a couple of the younger kids. And then we were talking last night, and we decided maybe that wasn't a good idea. So I'm just heading down here solo real quick, pick up a trailer, turning around, and coming right back home. But we actually used to live down here, so I was stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas for 6.5 years when I was in the Army, and we spent the first 3.5 years that we were married living down here, actually. And I'm actually heading to Junction City, which is the closest town right outside of Fort Riley, to pick this trailer up. So she thought it might be cool while I'm down here to bring you guys on post and do a video from on post and talk about my time in the service a little bit and why I served. I was intrigued by the idea. I liked the idea, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me that last I checked, it was a felony to bring a firearm onto a military installation, and I'm carrying. So decided that may not be the best idea, and instead we're going to do this video on the road. And if I get to a place where maybe I can get a shot or two of Fort Riley, I might get a shot or two of Fort Riley, but anyway. So yeah, for those of you who didn't know, I am a veteran. I served for 6.5 years in the 1st Infantry Division out of Fort Riley, Kansas. I did 2 deployments in that time to Iraq. The first was in 2007, 2008 as part of the surge to New Baghdad. And then the second time was in 2009, 2010 up to northern Iraq, about in the middle between Tikrit and Kirkuk is where I was at that time. But you know, service was important to me then. I joined straight out of high school. I literally graduated high school, and 3 weeks later I was on a plane heading to Fort Benning, Georgia for basic training in AIT. And service was important to me then, and it's important to me now. Sacrificing for one's country, being willing to draw that line in the sand and fight for something that you believe in, for a people, for your nation, it was just always very important to me, and it still is. You know, I'm not saying America doesn't have her faults. I'm not saying America doesn't have its flaws, but, you know, what country in the history of the world has not committed some atrocities? What country in the history of the world hasn't done something in their past that they regret, that they learn from? The important thing is that we learn from it and we move forward. I love America. I love our country. We truly are.
In 10 miles, take exit 295 onto US 77 and Kansas 18 west toward Marysville.
I don't know if that came across, but that was my GPS talking. Anyway, now I lost my train of thought, but it's just serving one's country was very important to me, and it still is important to me. And that's one of the reasons why I joined the Army straight out of high school. And giving back and sacrificing and serving one's community is still important to me, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to run for county supervisor 4 years ago, and that's why I'm deciding to run for re-election again now. It's not a self-serving position. It's one where sacrifice is required. For those of you who don't know, it varies week to week, but I honestly average anywhere from 30 to 50 hours a week putting into the county supervisor thing. I'm up there from about 7 to 7:30 o'clock Tuesday until about 7 a.m. until about 7 p.m. Tuesday, and then throughout the course of the weeks, it's phone calls, helping citizens with issues, other board appointments and board meetings, and just countless other stuff, meeting with department heads, and you know, working on long-range planning and working with department heads, and just a multitude of things. And it really does, to do it properly and to do the role justice, it takes sacrifice. And it's very important to me. I love America, and I love Jasper County. I was born and raised in Jasper County. My family's lived there for 4 generations. I mean, that's why the day I signed out of terminal leave, the day I signed out of the Army, Holly and I were packed up within 72 hours and on the highway coming back home. And because I wanted to be home. I wanted to be back in Jasper County. I love Jasper County. I love its citizens. I care about it. I care about its success. I care about its well-being. And it's really, really important to me. And we are going to get a shot of the airfield. I don't know how well this is going to work or not, but I'm probably completely missing the shot, but that's well behind the trees now. But that is the airstrip for the Aviation Brigade for the 1st Infantry Division. This actually was all built while I was here. When I first got stationed here, none of this down here existed. None of it. I don't know how well that's going to come across, but anyway. So service is important to me. I take this role as being one of your guys' county supervisors very seriously. It is very important to me. Sacrifice and selfless service is something that they drill into you in the military, and it sticks with you for the rest of your life. So with that, I also did want to highly encourage you guys all again to, we're coming up on November. Elections are November 8th. Guys, do your due diligence. I said this 4 years ago. I think I did a video again about it during the primary, and I'm going to hit on it again now. Do your due diligence about who you're voting for. Ask yourself, what are their goals? What are their objectives? Do they have an agenda? If they have an agenda, what's their agenda? Why are they running? These are important questions that need to be answered, regardless of the position, whether it's governor, state representative, for the White House, or for county supervisor. These are questions that have to be asked and answered. You should know. You shouldn't just vote for somebody because you know them or you recognize the name. You do your due diligence before you go into the voting booth in November. Ask yourself, what does this person want to accomplish if they are elected? What do they want to do? Because it's important and it matters, and it should make trying to think of the right word, but it should determine who you vote for. Don't just vote for a name that you recognize. And I mean, I'm saying this about myself too, because there were a lot of people that did that 4 years ago. He's got a clever slogan, or they remembered my name from a Vote for the Beard sign that they saw, and they voted for me. And then they were shocked when I started increasing the budget for the secondary roads and law enforcement and cutting other places in the budget. They were shocked when I passed the Second Amendment sanctuary. They were shocked when I stand for small and limited government, for not expanding it. Well, it's because they didn't do their due diligence and they didn't pay attention. Anybody who paid attention would have known that's exactly what I was going to do. So it's coming up quick. It takes time to do this. It takes involvement on your part to investigate and look into the candidates, the seats that they're running for. What do they stand for? What are they going to do? So just please don't just go blindly voting for somebody on November 8th because you recognize their name or you know them. Do due diligence. Ask them. Get out and meet them. Ask them. Hey, what are your goals? What are your objectives? What are you wanting to do? Why are you wanting to run? They're questions that any person running for political office should be able to ask. So with that, I hope you all have a good day. Weekend's coming up. Hope you have a good weekend, and I will talk to you later.